Hey everyone, it's Blair here at Time Trades. Thanks for joining me. This is your weekend video update for Sunday, February 26th. We're going to start as usual with a review of last week's forecast. I'd give myself probably a C plus or B minus for this. I got the inflection midweek correct. You can see the yellow forecast line here. You can see the pivot that was made on Thursday. I did not get the magnitude of the move correct. I actually got it reversed. We came down harder and went up slower than I thought we would. So there's information in that. A couple of important things to note about last week's price action. Number one, we lost this orange magic level here at 12,232 in the NQ futures. And secondly, we're also probing below. We closed down below this important green Ganfan line here. The close was 11,923. So this is the start of what I would call confirmation of a move down below this green Ganfan wedge. So this is a level that we've identified for a long time here, and it's a critical confirmation level that I mentioned on previous videos. Now, a simple close below does not provide the instant confirmation that I would like. You can see how prices acted around this level before. It likes to cross it back and forth. So it's not like like flipping a switch, that's for sure. We can expect a little bit more playing around near this level at this line coming up in the future. But that being said, I have reason to believe that we are going to be heading lower, and I'll explain those reasons later in the video. Okay, so I want to go back and take a look at a slide that I shared last week. I have an update on the pricing update. We've delayed this for 1 week. It's going to start March 7th for new customers instead of March 1st. Everything else is the same. So the prices for time trades are going to be increasing to $39 per month and $350 per year to reflect the additional value that we've been adding over the last few months. And I'm going to continue to add new features based on input and suggestions from our customers as we go forward. So there will be a time when in the future when $39 a month looks insanely cheap, that like the same way that $30 is right now. So if you're curious about time trades, if you're interested in it, it's a great time to give it a try. Okay, so that's it for the changes to the price increase date. Now, I want to go and update our forecast now. So let's go back to TradingView here, and we're going to take a look at three things here that make me feel like prices are heading lower, even though they may chop around a little bit around this green line. Number one is breadth. So let's go and take a look at breadth. It's on here. All right, so this is QQQ breadth, and we're taking a look at the McClellan summation index here. So what this is telling us is it's basically an index reflecting the number of stocks moving up and moving down, and you can see how at significant lows there's big divergences in breadth. You can see here between the October low and the December low, breadth actually improved. So that was a pretty big clue that the December low was significant, and you can see how the summation index started moving up before price did, and then eventually price caught up and we got the big January pump. Now we've got the reverse happening. We see breadth turning. It made a lower high compared to August, okay, position of weakness, and it just crossed below zero. What happens in the past when the summation index goes below zero? Well, we can scroll back and take a look. Here's an interesting counter example. In July 21, we had breadth cross below zero. Price slow down its move up. So here's an interesting case of price continuing to go up, albeit at a slower pace with negative breadth. And this is a huge divergence here where price made a lower low, but breadth made a higher low before the final push up into the all-time high. But then we can see here the summation index made it up to 0 right around November 2021, around the all-time high, before completely dropping off the cliff. And we can see price hung on for another couple of months before eventually catching up in January. So I think that's the, I guess you can call it my bearish bias, but we all need to be aware of our biases. But I believe this is the example of that I'm going to be aligning to, because the conditions over back here in July of 21 were just so much different with liquidity and the Fed. So we're in a very different regime in terms of Fed liquidity right now. So we need to be aware of that. Much closer to the August high than, anything in 2021. Okay, so that brings us to the next data point about why I think we're continuing lower, and that is the Fed balance sheet. And this chart is a really powerful chart. It's kind of reflective of the incredible capabilities in TradingView. You can do so much with just a symbol definition here in TradingView, and now we're pulling data points from the Federal Reserve database and doing a little bit of basic arithmetic with it, and that is the orange line. And I will copy paste that symbol into the video comments so you can replicate this. But the orange line is effectively the Fed balance sheet. The blue line is the SPX. We can see the strong visual correlation. I don't have a regression analysis on the correlation, but my eyes are telling me there is a correlation here. And we can see that the Fed balance sheet is down to levels that were last seen in late December and early October. So that is another important data point about why I think we're heading lower here. And then finally, let's go and take a look at the dollar. The dollar is always an important clue in terms of where we're going to go. So we've got the DXY here. Now we're looking at the TimeTrade's web application, and this is providing machine learning forecasts based on the direction of, based on past history and associating that with timing events. So let me just clean up this chart a little bit so we can zoom in here. And we can see that there's been a very strong push up here that started in January, and we're now into late February. And even though the probabilities of up moves have declined, the move up is still accelerating. We see another cluster of up moves here in early March, heading into March 13th, before we see any probability of a decline. So it looks like flows into the US dollar are going to continue and continue to push price up. And of course, that's going to put pressure on stocks. So those are three of the reasons why I think we are going to see a continuation of the move down. So let's update our forecast here, and we're going to go over to the video tab. And this is the forecast line that we drew last week. The new forecast line that I'm going to share is effectively the same shape, but just shifted lower, because what I'm assuming here is that we are going to maybe chop around here a little bit as we progress below this critically important green lower Gann fan before making the final push down into a low mid-March. So let's take a look at that updated price. We're going to move both our target price rectangle and the yellow path of price. You can see the yellow path of price is mostly the same shape. I'm showing a little bit more up and down chop here to capture the volatility as I think we're going to separate below this green line. And then this target level box here is based on GANFANs that I've got over here on this tab, right? And it's basically, I see two areas where this decline could stop. The first is this red GANFAN, which is, well, it's not, it's I guess it's it's not parallel, but it's emanating from the same spot as the green line. So we've got the ruby red line here at about 11,100, and then below that we've got the 1x1, and the 1x1 is roughly where a lot of these moves down have encountered resistance in the past. So we went well below it in June. Okay, we went below it a little bit in October. It provided support in December. So who knows? This move down here, it may not make it all the way down to the blue 1x1. And interesting thing about this, 9,900, just under 10,000 level, we're getting into the range of the pre-COVID high here, right? So over here in December 2020. All right, so that is kind of the updated forecast and the rationale on why this green target box is where it is. So let's go back here to the tab and we can take a look at the green target box. And we've got that locked in, basically centered around the blue Gann wave, because as I talked about last week, blue Gann waves tend to indicate lows. So I guess what I'm thinking here is that this yellow Gann wave here is going to indicate a lower high compared to the prior blue. So this is going to be an example of a bearish inversion where the yellow is lower than the prior blue, and that indicates a lower prices coming down into the next blue part of the cycle, which is March 16th. All right, so this is kind of the reverse of what happened over here in January, where we had a blue higher than the prior yellow. So this blue on January 20th was higher than the prior yellow. This indicated a bullish inversion, and we got that as the next yellow surged up much higher than the prior blue. So we're effectively going to see the reverse of the January pump. That's what I'm expecting here. But after we see this this anticipated low here in mid-March, I think some bullish conditions are going to continue. So that's why I've got the arrow pointing up like that. Okay, so basically the same shape, shifted lower a little bit. You've heard my explanation on why this green box is where it is. It's based on GANFANs. So that's the updated forecast for this week. Okay, so I want to take a look at natural gas, because natural gas has been an exercise in futile knife catching over the last little bit, but it looks like it may have turned a corner here. So one of the most important parts of the GANFAN method is to anchor fans at $0 below major highs. So the last major high was over here December 15th, and we anchored a GANFAN using the squared price that we obtained from time trades. We anchored a new GANFAN at 0 on the same date, and look at the 1x1. Like, this is incredible. This is why I love GANFAN so much. I mean, you just this natural gas looks like it's going to fall all the way to like minus $50. It can't put together 2 straight green days to save its life. And all of a sudden it touches this 1x1 going up, and boom, we get a big rally. This gap here, it's not it's not really a rally. That was really a contract roll as the front contract changed. But still, from here to here has been plus 20% in Boyle. So that is indicative of some very positive price action in natural gas. Let's see what happens over here at the 1x2, this turquoise 1x2. If price can move up over that, then that would be a very bullish indication that, you know, we may be able to reach up to the underside of this 1x1 over here, approaching $4, $3.80 around there. Okay, so that's a quick natural gas update. Let's go over and take a look at Bitcoin. So we're going to go to Bitcoin over on time trades. So let's do that. BTC, USD. And what are we seeing here? Okay, so we're at a very interesting juncture over here on Bitcoin. And you can see here how we've got a Ganfan coming up from zero again. And it's providing a little bit of support here for Bitcoin, but can it hold? That is the real question. And I think it's important to keep an eye on this very closely. It's at a critical support point. We've got a small minor cluster of moves down over here. We've got nothing in terms of moves up here. This could be a tough week for Bitcoin. It looks like there's a little bit more bullish action here. And plus we've got a cluster of perfect square weeks. There's 3 perfect square weeks counting from prior highs that land the week of March 6th. And that is coming into a pivot high. So I think we might be seeing a push down lower before we see a push up into this pivot high here. Now, there's always a chance of inversion. One of the things that you'll notice is this pivot high, the dates of the pivot high are right around where that green box is. So if we go back to, let's go back and take a look at our dollar index, right? So if we go back here and take a look at DXY. Actually, I'm going to do it in time trades. We can see the DXY is pushing up into this area here, which is like March 14th it starts, and then we get a cluster of moves down. So time trades is thinking that we might see a peak around March 13th, March 14th. So it's hard to see Bitcoin trading against the dollar. So if the dollar is getting stronger, Bitcoin's going to get weaker. March 13th, 14th could be the target date, right? So what this means is we could be seeing an inversion here where this cluster of pivot highs end up being pivot lows in reality. And then this cluster of moves down end up being moves up in reality. So that's definitely something to be aware of. And it all comes down to, can this Ganfan provide support here? If not, I don't know what a price target would be. I would want to have some more Ganfans on my chart to provide support and resistance levels. Worst case, I think we would be coming down here to like 12,000, right? But I'm not prepared to make that forecast. That's a bit dramatic. But if the US dollar goes through the roof, then that's in the realm of possibility here. So we can get a very good early warning on any big negative move on Bitcoin just simply by watching this Ganfan here in this 23,000 level. The 12,000 number, I think, is a pretty extreme outlier and an example of the lowest that it could go given the structure that we see here. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's do a quick look at the Nifty. Now, the Nifty has been following our forecast pretty well. And again, look at the hits on this Ganfan, right? It probed up above it, and then it dropped down all last week, and it's dropping down into this cluster of pivot lows here in late February, early March. again, I remain a long-term bull on India. This looks like a good buying opportunity coming up in early March because we've got a pivot low followed by some moves up, followed by a bigger pivot high in early April. So let's see what happens here. Maybe we can get a spike or capitulation low down here into the low 17,000s. That would be a heck of a buying opportunity on the Nifty. Okay, so that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this week's update. Good luck trading this week. Trade safe, and we will talk to you again next week. Bye now.